We were downright giddy when the WWE Network launched in 2014. All of wrestling history only a few clicks away? For only $9.99, sign us up. But it isn't quite all of wrestling history, and while some insensitive moments are still available, some are long gone. I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling, and let's take a look at 7 moments that are banned from the WWE Network. Now, before we crack open the History Vault to take a look, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and press the notification bell. Number 1. Piper's Split Decision. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and we kind of get what Roddy Piper was going for during his WrestleMania 6 bout with Bad News Brown when he decided to, let me just check my notes, paint half of his body black. Oh boy, okay. To hear Hot Rod explain it, I can be black, I can be white. Don't make no difference to me, it's what's inside. And that's a lovely sentiment. Similar to something the King of Pop had expressed at one point in the 90s. But Roddy? That ain't it. Tune into WrestleMania 6 and there is no evidence of this bout ever existing. Number 2. DX pulls a Piper. Parodies are a tried and true way to heat up a rivalry, be it The Miz and Maurice impersonating John Cena and Nikki Bella, CM Punk doing an eerily accurate Jeff Hardy, or Kevin Nash giving up his spot. Not his dog spot, not a liver spot, but his spot. And one of the most famous and most notorious entries into the wrestlers impersonating other wrestlers genre features the lovable pranksters of D-Generation X poking fun at the Nation of Domination. You know, the Nation of Domination, a faction that, with the exception of Owen Hart, was made up of entirely African-American talent. And if you don't know where we're going with this, well, yeah. Nowadays, when you tune into the July 6, 1998 episode of Raw's War, there is no evidence of the current Chief Content Officer and Head of Creative Triple H parading around with his buddies wearing blackface. Number 3. Choppy. Now this is so dumb. Possibly the dumbest thing to ever happen in a business that has had its share of dumbness. Oof. Where to start? Okay, Val Venus was a wrestling adult star, during the Attitude Era, and he delighted in sleeping with his opponent's wives. You can just hear the pitch spilling out of Vince Russo's face, can't you? Bro, there's like this porn star, bro. Anyhow, he slept with Yamaguchi-san's wife, which, as you'd imagine, upset him greatly. So, on the August 3rd, 1998 episode of Monday Night Raw, Yamaguchi-san's faction Kai and Tai, along with Mrs. Yamaguchi's apparent secret brother, Taka Michinoku, beat up Val Venus, dragged him backstage, tied him up, and were about to lop off his, bro. But if you watch that episode, you won't find that bizarre event. However, you will find Val Venus and John Wayne Bobbitt in the subsequent episode explaining how the Big Valboski was able to escape with his manhood intact. And if you're too young to know who John Wayne Bobbitt is, well, consider yourself lucky. And do yourself a favor, don't Google him. Number 4. Rock concert canceled. The Rock is great with a microphone. He's pretty solid with a steel chair, but he absolutely thrives when you put a guitar in his hand. His rock concert segments are some of the highlights of his latter career. The way he'd take down his opponent in verse would have audiences in stitches. So, what happened to the one he performed on the Raw before WrestleMania 19? I mean, look at the menu. There's a picture of the Great One holding a guitar. It's the lead item in the description blurb. There's even an interview with the People's Champ during the episode where he mentions it. But when you get to the end of the show, it's Jerry, Big Uncle Energy Lawler, and Jim Ross hyping up the pay-per-view, and that's it. Now, we don't have a definitive reason why we're being deprived of the People's Champion's musical stylings, but our best bet is that it's some kind of copyright issues with the tunes of the songs. Number 5. General bleepery. Anything can happen on live TV, and anything can be censored after the fact. If you're looking for the Cat's raunchy celebration when she won the Women's Championship at 1999's Armageddon pay-per-view, well, I've got some bad news for you. The time Sable ripped off Jacqueline's top at 1998's Capital Carnage UK exclusive pay-per-view? Again, more bad news. And speaking of perverts, if you're watching the May 26, 1997 episode of Raw's War, where Jerry the King Lawler calls Goldust a flaming, derogatory slur for a homosexual that starts with the letter F, well, that's been altered too. Interestingly, though, other forms of harsh language remain intact, including the March 17, 1997 episode of Raw's War, where Bret Hart pushes Vince McMahon to the ground and unloads a variety of profanities. They're all still there. Shocking coming from the guy who would go on to complain about American family values. Number 6. Vince's version of satire. It's hard to believe that anybody at any time thought this particular backstage disaster was a good idea. And yet, there we were, with the chairman of the board of the biggest sports entertainment company in the world dropping the N-word. And what was the punchline? Well, Booker T and Sharmell showing shock and disgust at Vince's actions. And what was WWE's reasoning? Well, they told TMZ that it was an outlandish and satirical skit involving fictional characters, similar to that of many scripted television shows and movies. Yes, Mr. McMahon, John Cena, Booker T, and Sharmell were characters in a scripted television show. But by virtue of their own performances, it was clear the joke was Vince says something that will offend a segment of the audience, and then that segment said that they were in fact offended. So, great outlandish satire, team. At any rate, don't go looking up Survivor Series 2005 to check it out, because it is long gone. Number 7. Gravity versus Goldberg. Okay, let's check out the list so far. Okay, racism, dismemberment, homophobia, yikes. This list is a downer. So let's end it up with a rare fun one. Nobody does a big, enthusiastic entrance quite like Bill Goldberg. His usual act involves him headbutting lockers and throwing some crazy punches and kicks. But at SummerSlam 2003, the act was expanded to include the man falling right on his keister. Apparently, WWE has a vested interest in keeping his badass image intact, so the version you'll find on WWE Network cuts away before the floor finds out who's next. Well, that's our list. Did we miss any? If so, let us know in the comments section below. Also, do us a favor and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Senior Siete. This has been 7 Wrestling. Bye-bye!